Well, we're back again in our series with David Young of Caliber Home Loans, and today we're going to talk about why to use a real estate agent.
Yes. Why to use Brian?
That's right. So, I mean, obviously I'm biased, so from your point of view, why should somebody use a real estate agent?
You know, I get that question a lot because as a lender, people have to call me to find out if they qualify for a loan or not. And a lot of people think, hey, I can just go to a website like Realtor, Zillow, Trulia. I mean, there's 1,000 of them out there, Home Scouting Report. I mean, there's tons of them, right, that you can go to.
BrianCarlinRealtor.com?
BrianCarlinRealtor.com, 2-Minute Tour. I mean, there's tons of different sites that you can go to for information gathering. And this is truly the age of the internet. Heck, you're watching a video right now. But think about this, right? 90% of people begin their home search online. Now this is a transaction that you're going to make 2 to 5 times at most during your life, right? So this is going to be the biggest financial decision you are ever going to make. I mean, when's the next time you're going to spend $200,000 to $800,000 on something? I mean, think about that, right? So a lot of people ask me, well, why should I work with a professional? Doesn't it cost more money? And the question is no. And the reason for that is because, I mean, when you hire somebody that's a professional, like Brian, right, he's going to represent you. So he's going to make sure that you get a fair price on the home. Now, you might be able to pull comps or do some financial analysis online using Google, right? But Zillow, whatever. But, you know, 60% of the listings that are out there are on Zillow. Well, what happened to the other 40%? Right? What about the new construction homes that people like you,
they don't show?
Yeah, and people like me, even though I'm in lending, I don't have access to that, right? So not having a professional in your corner, it can be the most expensive thing that you could ever do. And not just that, but think about how many new people there are in the business, right? I mean, think about yourself. When you first started your job, were you absolutely fantastic at it? Probably not, right?
No.
And there's a lot of new agents out there. There are not a lot of new loan guys out there. There are not a lot of new home inspectors out there. There's a lot of new everybody because this industry is just on fire. It really is. So everybody's clamoring to get into it, right?
Right.
So just using an agent or, you know, your Uncle Bob's niece Sally's brother's cat's sister who just got their license.
Believe it or not, I've heard of something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because they just got their license doesn't mean that they have the experience, the knowledge, and the team behind them that they're going to need to make you successful in your home purchase, right? I mean, think about that. How many times do you refer out your home buyers to somebody who's done a ton of inspections for you in the past?
Oh, all the time. I use pretty much the same guy whenever he's available.
Yeah. And he probably does an excellent job, right?
Yeah, and frankly, what he does, he's so thorough, he scares my clients, which is good. Because I bought a house out in California, my first house, and I had to rip that thing down to the studs and completely rebuild it. And I remember the inspector came in and said, oh, you need a strap around the water heater. That's it, you're good. Charge me $450. Thing had no insulation. There were rat pellets everywhere. If I was in water and I tried to turn off the light switch in the bathroom, I mean, the thing was, it was in horrible shape. So I know from experience that it is very important to have somebody who is making sure that you have eyes wide open when you're looking at that house.
Yeah, because let's be honest, buying a house is emotional, right? People get into it and they're like, wow, I love it. It's got a nice floor plan. But they don't think about all the other little intricacies that go into buying a house. I bought some difficult homes in the past. I'm a finance guy, right? Even though I help hundreds, well now thousands of people buy homes, you'd think, hey, I can walk through a house and know what's right or wrong. But that's not true. That's not my specialty. I'm not an electrician. I'm not a plumber. I'm not a handyman. And you shouldn't be either. Unless that's your trade, you shouldn't be either. Rely on professionals to cover your back on those things. Somebody that's been in real estate for 20 years. Somebody who's been inspecting homes for 20 years. Somebody who's been doing mortgages for 15 to 20 years. Somebody who really knows what they're doing rather than somebody that's like, looks nice.
Right.
Heck, you know, Aunt Sally's cousin and sister can help you with that. I mean, your neighbor can help you with that, you know? The guy that lives up the street can help you with that. You need a professional. Professionals are critical. This will save you tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. It really will.
It's very important that you be able to have somebody in your corner looking through that house with a critical eye. Not just saying, hey, look at these beautiful floors. Aren't these colors nice? Isn't that carpet nice? That's what a lot of realtors do, and I don't. I'll go up in the attic. I'm searching for stuff. I'm trying to find flaws because I want to make sure that the client understands what it is that he's buying. And I do that in every house. So I do that because I want to make sure that they're buying a good house and a solid house and they understand and they're not going to be surprised.
And not just that, but I mean, just because somebody puts their house up for $400,000 I'm not even a realtor and I can post my home up for $400,000 on Zillow, right? Doesn't mean it's worth $400,000. Now, the fancy new construction home across the road or across town from them might have sold for $400,000, so they feel that because they painted the back room, it's worth more money. But the brutal reality is, maybe that home's only worth $280,000. But you love the home. You're sold on that home. You need that property because it's emotional, right? You need a good agent that kind of like takes a little bit of the emotion out of it, right? And looks at it and says, whoa, hold on a minute. No home in this neighborhood has ever sold for $400,000. If you paid that much money for this house, you're making a critical error, right? I mean, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. So anything else you can think of? Oh, one thing I can say. A lot of times people want to talk to the seller, to the listing agent, because they think they're going to get a better deal. Maybe they'll get a discount in the commission. And you know what? You might. But the thing is that's the listing agent, that primary responsibility, their primary responsibility is to the seller. Per TREC guidelines, Texas Real Estate Commission, once they are working on both sides, as an intermediary, working both the buyer and the seller, they cannot give you any opinions. They cannot even really give you any information. They can only say, hey, go to this website, or I recommend you go over here to look for that information. They can't tell you whether or not it's a good buy. They can't tell you whether or not your price is good. And they're certainly not going to try to grind it as best as they can. No, that's all relative. The market's so hot right now. But they're certainly not going to try to get you the best deal because their primary responsibility is to the seller. So, yes, you might save 1% and get a little bit money back, but you might end up paying a lot more for the house. Or you might not really know what it is that you're getting and buy a bad house.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than making a terrible financial decision. Is 1% maybe savings worth a huge financial catastrophe? I mean, that 1%, you might say, hey, I saved 10 grand.
You know what?
But man, I paid 50 grand more than I should have.
I have the listing agent in my house in California. They represented both sides, and I got 5 grand back from her. I thought I did great. She covered my closing costs. You know, I bought a $500,000 house. I think I got into it for $500 out of my pocket. Wow. But anyway, it ended up costing me $220,000 to fix that house up. And it sure would have been nice had somebody looked at it with a really critical eye.
Yeah, whether it's a great realtor, finance guy, a home inspector, you really need to work with professionals. I know that all of us feel like we know everything because we got Google on our phones and on our computer and everywhere, right? And we can ask Siri anything or ask Google anything and get that answer back immediately. When it comes to making a huge financial transaction like this, you got to stick with a professional. You just have to.
I have to agree. Don't forget to click on the link to apply for a home loan at Caliber Home Loans, and to click on my link, go to briancarlinrealtor.com and take a look at homes all over the country, along with the 2-minute tour, which is a constantly updated series of videos. As you can see right now, we've had over 80,000 views, and love to see you soon.
And growing. 2-minute tour.